Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss a very important essay of the feminist film theory, and that is Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema, which was written by Laura Mulvey, a British feminist film theorist. This essay was originally written in 1973, but it was published in the autumn 1975 issue of the British film journal Screen. This essay is divided into four sections, which we are going to discuss in this video. In the introductory section of the video, Mulvey clearly stated the agenda, which was to appropriate psychoanalytic theory as a political weapon to expose how the unconscious of patriarchal society has structured the film form. She argued that the other film theorists have written about psychoanalysis and film, but they have failed to address the importance of the representation of the female form. Hence, to explore how female representation in cinema provides visual pleasure and also fortify male dominance, Mulvey used the theory of Sigmund Freud and Jacques Lacan. In the introduction, Mulvey connected Freud's model of psychoanalysis with phallocentrism. Phallocentrism is an ideology that the phallus or male sexual organ is the central element in the organization of the social world. Mulvey argued that women have real absence of penis, due to which she signifies lack and nothing less. By the virtue of this lack of women, men gains authority in the social structure. Further, in the introduction section, she employed Jacques Lacan's concept of symbolic order and the name of the father and the law. According to Lacan, language is encoded with patriarchal values and hence creates the unconscious. Based on these concepts of Lacan, Mulvey argued that psychoanalysis can be used to advance our understanding of status quo. In short, her intention in the essay was to analyze the pleasure produced by the visual and narrative structures of the classic cinema. The second section of the essay is Pleasure in Looking, Fascination with the Human Form. Let's discuss it in detail. In this section, Mulvey discussed Freud's concept of scopophilia, that is, pleasure associated with looking. According to Freud, scopophilia is manifested in the voyeuristic activities of children who have a desire to see forbidden bodily areas and acts. These way of looking transform others into objects of pleasure. And based on this concept of Sigmund Freud, Mulvey elucidates that cinema creates illusion of looking in someone's private world and hence positions audiences to engage in scopophilia and experience its erotic pleasure. Further, Mulvey linked the narcissistic aspect of scopophilia with Jacques Lacan's concept of mirror image. Before a child can talk and walk, he develops inklings of self-awareness by glimpsing himself in the mirror. He considers that these reflected selves have more autonomy and agency than him. In this way, the child experiences the notion of an ideal ego. Now, Mulvey notes that the conventions of mainstream film are focused on the human form in its glamorous incarnations, thereby appealing to the spectator's narcissistic desire to gaze at others who reflect his ideal ego. Mulvey wrote in his essay that in film terms one implies a separation of the erotic identity of the subject from the object on the screen. The other demands identification of the ego with the object on the screen through the spectator's fascination with and recognition of his like. It means that Mulvey pointed out two aspects of scopophilia in cinema. One deals with objectifying, the other with erotic pleasure, and the other deals with identifying the other to secure one's ideal ego. According to Freud, two causes of scopophilia are sexual drive and ego drive. Now Mulvey elucidates that although cinematic images of the female form offer a beautifully complementary fantasy world for man's erotic and narcissistic scopophilia, the image of women also represents castration, which means fear of losing penis. Thus, the object of the look is both pleasurable as well as threatening to men. The section 3 of the essay is Women as Image, Men as Bearer of the Look. Let's understand it in detail. In the context of film form, Mulvey wrote that the pleasure of looking has been split between active male and passive female. It means contrasting women's passive role as the erotic spectacle, the male hero is the active subject within the film narrative. The notion of women as image and men as the bearer of the look has been connoted as to be looked at-ness. Women is the fundamental erotic object of gaze in films, but lacks authority to give it. While spectators look at the women on the screen as an erotic object, she is also objectified by the gaze of the characters in the film. Male articulates the look and creates the action. He produces the ideal ego conceived in the mirror face of the childhood. The essay popularized the term male gaze, and there are three kinds of male gaze: the look of the camera, gaze of men within the film narrative, and gaze of the male spectator. Mulvey explains that there are two ways to escape from castration effect: sadistic voyeurism and fetishistic scopophilia. Sadistic voyeurism refers to the sexual interest in or practice of watching other people engaged in intimate behaviors. She gave the example of Vertigo and Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock to explain voyeurism. Further, she explains that uh, voyeurism is typically present in film genres like film noir, in which the story begins with the investigation of a woman's mystery and ends by punishing or saving her. Another way is the fetishistic scopophilia, which refers to disavowing castration by fetishizing the figure of the women. The examples of this phenomena given by Mulvey are Morocco and Dishonored, two movies by Josef von Sternberg with Marlene Dietrich. In the conclusion section of the essay, Mulvey noted that while other visual mediums exploit the psychic structures that subtend women's to-be-looked-at-ness, cinema builds the way she is to be looked at into the spectacle itself. One way to expose these conventions and disrupt their affirmation of the male gaze is to allow the camera to make its presence known in the film. While an intrusive camera will destroy the pleasure produced by the illusion of realism, Mulvey concludes that women cannot view the decline of the traditional film form with anything much more than sentimental regret. So that's all for today's video. Please like the video and subscribe the channel. See you in the next video.